Alrighty guys, we're back for some Gruul Modified, and this is a Lost Caverns of Ixalan Standard brew, and I'm Red Cat. Let's go over the deck, then hop right into some ranked, rockin' 4 Kumano Faces Kakkazan in here. It's going to be terrific, as it always is. Chapter 2, of course, modifies, and being an enchantment is going to be important in this one. We'll go over why in just a second. Got 3 Monstrous Rage in here. Creating those monster rolls is really going to come in handy. Trample is going to be great, and the fact that it is an aura roll, you know, being an enchantment, it's going to matter in this one. Like I said, we'll go over why in a second. Teething Wurmlet in here because we have artifacts, and it modifies itself, and that life gain can go a long way when we're seeing like a ton of mono red. 3 Iron Apprentice as well. It's a 1 mana 0/0. When it ETBs, you get a +1/+1 counter on it. And then when it dies, if it had counters on it, you put those counters on target creature you control. Not a bad creature at all, guys. It really isn't. Got a couple Inti, Seneschal of the Sun. Maybe I pronounced it right this time. This is a 2 mana, 2/2 legendary creature, human knight, and whenever you attack, so with any creature, it doesn't have to be Inti, you may discard a card. When you do, put a +1/+1 counter on target attacking creature. Nice, so another way to modify. It gains trample until end of turn. Beautiful. Whenever you discard 1 or more cards, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card until the end, your next end step, it says. So, not a bad card, dude. I'll tell you what. Got a couple of Kami's Flare. This is not a bad card. No, that's how I feel about a lot of these, right? Because, yeah, we don't get to see these too often. This 2 mana, instant speed, deals 3 damage to target creature or planeswalker. Kami's Flare also deals 2 damage to that permanent's controller if you control a modified creature, which in this build hopefully is always. Elvish Archivist, kind of the main build around of the deck. So I probably should have started by going over this, but that's fine. This is a 2 mana, 0/1 you. But, however, whenever 1 or more artifacts enter the battlefield under your control, you put 2 +1/+1 counters on Elvish Archivist. Now, unfortunately, it only triggers once each turn, but 2 counters really does go a long way. And then, whenever 1 or more enchantments enter the battlefield under your control, you draw a card. This ability, of course, triggers only once each turn, but that can keep your hand nice and stocked up, so we do have plenty of enchantments and plenty of artifacts in here to work with the Elvish Archivist. Yeah, I think it's going to be an MVP, but we'll see if it can stay on the board. Yeah, it kind of dies to everything, doesn't it? We have Explorer's Cache. This is a 2 mana artifact. When it enters the battlefield, it comes in with 2 +1/+1 counters on it. Then whenever a creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it dies, you put a +1/+1 counter on Explorer's Cache. Then you can tap this to move a +1/+1 counter from Explorer's Stash onto target creature, activate only as a sorcery, unfortunately. It's a neat one, guys. I'm curious to see how often we lose our creatures and then plug some counters on this. And then, of course, we get to redistribute those counters later on as the turns go on. So, I don't know. I think the one of it's going to be interesting. Ozolith, the Shattered Spire, a 2 mana legendary artifact. If 1 or more +1/+1 counters would be put on an artifact or creature you control, that many +1 +1/+1 counters on it are put onto it instead. Man, I don't know what's up with these +1/+1s, but they're really hard to read sometimes. That it has this bottom ability for 1 and a green. You can tap it to put a +1/+1 counter on target artifact or creature you control, activate only as a sorcery. So like on an artifact too, you could totally like plug one onto the Explorer's Cache or something. I don't know if you'd ever want to do that, but it is an option. Also has cycling for 2, so I'm not too worried about the whole legendary thing. We got 1 on the board already. We can always cycle away the other one, so that'll be nice. Simian Simulacrum. This is a 3 mana, 2/1. Whenever Simian Simulacrum enters the battlefield, put 2 +1/+1 counters on target creature you control. It's also an artifact creature, guys, so it works with the Elvish Archivist, which could be quite the lineup, huh? Turn 2 Archivist into a turn 3 Simian Simulacrum. You can plug those counters right onto the Archivist, and now it's a 4/5. That's kind of wild to think about. Also has Unearth for 2 and double green, which is pretty good. Got 3 Bloated Contaminators, mainly for the Proliferate, but also just not a bad creature to slam some counters onto, man. So yeah, 3 mana, 4/4, Trample, Toxic 1, and when it deals combat damage to a player, Proliferate. Beautiful. Got 3 Invigorating Hot Springs. This is an enchantment, so that does work with drawing off the Archivist. So, 3 mana rockin' Gruul colors up there. When it ETBs, it comes in with 4 +1/+1 counters on it. And then modified creatures you control have haste. that could go a long way. Remove a +1/+1 counter from Invigorating Hot Spring. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. Activate only as a sorcery and only once each turn. So you don't even have to tap this like you have to tap for like the Explorer's Cache. Not like it matters. I just thought that was interesting. Okay, we got a top end here. We got a couple Thundering Raiju to help slam some damage through, and also a Halana, which honestly we just don't get to see enough of nowadays. 4 mana. 2/3 legendary creature rocking those Gruul colors. It has First Strike and Reach, which really does go a long way with Phoenix Chick flying about. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you put X +1/+1 counters on another target creature you control, where X is Halanau's power. That creature gains haste until end of turn, and it wouldn't be unheard of to boost Halanau's power with all of your other abilities, right? Or give it haste off of like Invigorating Hot Springs. And then it's a 3/4, and then you plug 3 counters onto something else. Maybe like, I don't even know at that point. It doesn't even matter. Like Bloated Contaminator, right? Anything getting 3 counters could be devastating for the opponent. Check this out, guys. Perfect even split. 46% red, 46% green. We got a perfect even split in the mana base as well. Who Endures, Crucible of Defiance, opting for the fast land, but we do have some of the slow land here with Rockfall Vale, as well as Restless Ridgeline. Just having some form, just any amount of creature land could go a long way. I just didn't want it to slow us down too much. And then also, it does cost 4 to activate, so we'll see. Maybe we do want more of these, depending on how much control and stuff we end up going up against, but got some honorable mentions to you guys. I thought about having some burn in here. Instead, we're just slamming face, dude. Kami's Flare is like the only removal. But other burn might be something to consider at the very least. What about this? Battle Glyph. This could be decent removal, especially if you slam down like a 1-drop and then immediately play the Battle Glyph. It would get a +1/+1 counter, and then it fights another creature, which is a pretty neat one, but I don't know how good it's actually going to be, but honorable mention for a reason. Contagious Vorak is a great trade out if you don't have any Bloated Contaminators. I think it would kind of sort of do the same task, and when ETBs, you just choose that proliferate ability instead of grabbing a land, so something to consider, I suppose. Udama of the West Tree, of course, almost made the cut. Thought about the Arbalest Engineers here as well. Like the Power Stones could be handy. Of course, just putting a +1/+1 counter, giving something trample is pretty good too, man. There's a lot of stuff that can go into Gruul mods, and this is another budget option too. So Amiglos almost made the cut as well, and Roadside Reliquary, since we have plenty of enchantments and artifacts. So all those are something to consider at the very least. Let's go ahead, take this into some ranked, and see how we do. All right, we'll see if we can get right into that first game here. In the meantime, it's the holiday season, guys. What do you think of Santa Red? I forgot to bring that up right at the beginning. I got so caught up of going over the deck. Opponent goes first. This is not a bad hand at all, is it? Okay. So we go Forest to make sure the green source is on the board. Even though we take a damage here, we want to curve out properly. Get that Kumano down. Yeah, this is a good one, dude. Oh, buddy. Swamp. Oh no, the Archivist is never going to survive the turn. Oh, it really isn't. Deep Cavern Bat takes the Archivist to mess with our curve, I would say, right? Opponent's thinking about it, though. It is the Archivist. Darn. Okay, so nothing for the turn. That's fine. We'll just get the Rockfall Vale down and not worry too much about it then. Mana flips next turn, which means our turn 3 Simulacrum could still be pretty good, depending on what they do here. Creature of the Schism. Crit attack. Okay. Okay, the Death Touch on that's pretty brutal too. They would probably gladly take that trade. Maybe it's Contaminator for the turn. So if we go Simian, we buff the Etching to a 4/4. I think they would gladly take that, right? Let's try it. Let's give it a shot. Because in the long run, getting this off the board could be really good for us. Or they might just take the 4 damage too, right? So yeah. Yeah, they did not accept that trade. Right, so they create a 1/1 lifelink vampire. That chumps well. So we take the 3, because I don't want to lose the Simian just to a chump block for a 2/4, you know? Okay, get the Rockfall Vale down. You don't know what these 2 cards are. Unfortunately, it's just land. The other Simian's fine. This trade is really bad. So, player with the most life or tied for the most life. Okay, I see. I'm thinking it's going to be Bloated Contaminator here. But first, they have 3 mana open, guys. I'm going to attempt the swing first, and I think I'm okay with this trade because of the Unearth ability. If we keep it back, what's the difference? I guess if we kept it back, we could have had a blocker available, right? But now it's available to unearth next turn if we needed it to have haste or something. I think it's Contaminator. Gonna be some spot removal for the Contaminator, okay. They only have 3 damage on this board state. And now they're gonna create another vampire. So if they have the most life, they lose a life and draw a card. Very neat card, guys, very neat. And Death Touch really does go a long way too. Virtue? Oh, and then Cut Down. Wow, they're doubling down on our etching, guys. That's not bad for us. All in all. Although we are slowly dwindling down on cards, I would say. Yeah, we don't need any more mana for a while. Teething Wurmlet was pretty good. And I think we'll go ahead and buff the Simulacrum itself. I think that's fine. Yeah, not bad, not bad. Reestablished the board state well enough. Any land off the top would be really bad, I would say, at this point. Okay, cut down for Wurmlet. Okay. Okay. So 4 pieces of spot removal is out of the opponent's deck, guys. That means if we see any of our top end as well, we don't have too many top end cards in here. Do we accept this trade now? This is kind of becoming a problem, isn't it? It's given them a lot of value. Man, that's a tough decision, dude. So this Elvish Archivist never would have survived. Not with that go for the throat and whatnot, too. Okay, Flesh Gorger. Okay. I mean, we do... The opponent is giving us a ton of problems, man. If we bring back one of these, we could, like, buff the Apprentice, but for what? If we bring back one of these, we could just slam face? I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna hold off and play the Crucible for the turn. They're gonna be gaining 3 from the Flesh Gorger. If we bring back the Simian Simulacrum, we could give it counters to itself and swing. That just doesn't feel like the right thing to do, you know what I mean? Okay, so here's what we'll do. Drop the Crucible. We have the block into the Vampire, but I wonder... I mean, we don't want to double block Flesh Gorger. Or triple block it, right? That would probably not be great. If we block like this, we'll put a +1/+1 counter on one of the 1/1s. That makes a little bit of sense to me. Although we are... Oh no, another go for the throat, guys. Brutal, brutal stuff. Oh, second Flesh Gorger. Oh hey, Restless Ridgeline. That probably could have been good if it was already on the board, right? I would say. So both of these have Menace. They have 7 coming in next turn. At this point, dude, like this isn't blocking well. At this point, we just go for the 4-3 swing. They're going to easily take this down to 18. Yeah, this deck chewed us up and spit us out, bro. Although we're not dead yet. But I'm pretty sure we're dead. Even if we do find a way around these Flesh Gorgers, the bat can just go ahead and fly in. Okay. Kumano wasn't bad. I feel like overall we didn't draw terribly, right? And then like we also have the Simian to bring back too. Yeah. Yeah, not bad. I'm fairly pleased with how our deck played out. The 5 pieces of spot removal, a GG opponent, was pretty brutal. And the Preacher, that was a value card, man. That provided them a ton of value, and they got a draw off of it too. I totally see why they didn't accept that trade into our 4/4 Kumano. Neat. All right. Yeah, so even if the bat didn't take that Elvish Archivist, there's just no way it was surviving. That being said, if spot removal was used on that instead of some of our other stuff, then maybe, I don't know about that one, guys. Every now and then, I'm like, oh yeah, that could have gone either way. I don't know about that one. Ooh, good hand, dude. I like it. Yes. I wonder if no, yeah, no, we play everything out. Oh, hello, opponent. Hello. We don't get too many hellos. Before we swing, I'm going to play the Elvish Archivist. That way. No. I changed my mind. Let's swing first and see if they remove this, and then maybe our Archivist survives. Oh, crap. Oh, crap, guys. I always forget about Virtue of Loyalty. It's so played nowadays. Well. Crap. Swung right into it. I do that constantly. Do you guys do the same thing, or are you guys now expecting the Virtue? Which it's actually the adventure side, of course, the Arden Vale fealty. I keep swinging right into those. We're taking the 3. All 3 Invigorating Hot Springs, huh? Okay, then. I guess we'll play one. There you go, little buddy. Have a counter. Raiju is fine, but we don't have the 4th mana yet, so... Looks like they discarded a go for the throw. Oh, cut down. Wah, 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 wah. So even if we see our 4th mana now, Thundering Raiju is going to have a heck of a time, bro. That is a board state to be swinging into. And I don't think Raiju will survive well. Oh, Contaminator. Dude, yeah. That's good. Do they double block this, though? Crap, they do. They have a beautiful double block here. Okay, no attacks, unfortunately. But I'll tell you what, keeping a blocker on the ground could go a long way, too. Virtue. Oh, buddy. Oh, buddy. There's a reason we're seeing a lot more Virtue of Loyalty, man. There's a reason. That is scary, scary business. Ozolith. Ooh. Yeah, dude. I feel like the deck isn't drawing bad at all. We're just up against some really tough matches here. Cool stuff, man. We're like dead next turn anyways, right? Let's have a fun swing here. Let's do this. They can easily take this. We'll go Monstrous Rage. Cool. Good stuff, man. Oh, we get that Proliferate too. Nice. And the Proliferate goes on to the Hot Springs as well. Yeah, good game. Opponent. Esper, like, it used to be Esper Legends, but now is it just like Esper mid-range? I mean, there's still plenty of Legends, but like, right, yeah, they run the Deep Cavern Bat nowadays and the Virtue of Loyalty. We've been seeing this version. It looks really, really strong. Soaring City. Kicking us while we're down. That's pretty funny, though. And that's probably a case to be said that it's still Esper Legends, right? Right? I know the old Esper Legends used to run, like, multiple of these legendary lands as, like, their main removal, so that was only one. That might have been, like, the only one in the build. Esper floating about a fair bit. What do we have a chance against if Mono Black and Esper look that brutal? I mean, I'd love to test it against Mono Red, of course. But in the long run, I suppose... Yeah, I suppose we'll see, right? Good hands, though. Bro, and we're drawing so well. Like, the starting hands have been good. Like... Oh, start with Copperline Gorge. There's like a chance that we see 2 more Copperline Gorge off the top. So making sure they all come in untapped would be important. A Teething Wurmlet. Market Gnome. Cool. I'll read that in a second. I kind of know what it does, but... Okay, we should get the Elvish Archivist down. It is a 1/2. So, when this dies, you gain 1 life, draw a card. When it is exiled from the battlefield while you are activating a craft ability, you gain 1 life, draw a card. Neat. Oh, hey, thank you, opponent. That's awesome, dude. That's awesome. Oh, man, and we draw off the etching. Jeez, bro. Might as well use that Power Stone, I'd say, huh? So we'll plug that onto the etching. Look at this. Look at this go. Of course, the Power Stone helped us out a lot. But if we had our 3rd mana, then we wouldn't have needed the Power Stone. So that's something to think about. And is nice and stocked up. Ever flowing well. Wonder what the opponent's playing over there. Iron Crag in the grave. There's our 3rd. Let's see. There's a... Okay. So, like, I wouldn't mind just playing this, right? So we'll start with Teething Wurmlet. You know what? What if it's a board wipe? Whatever. Let's go. Let's do this. All in, bro. GG, opponent. It was not a board wipe, apparently. Awesome. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Hey, while I'm here and while I'm remembering, we do have that Discord link and that Patreon link down in the description if you're interested in joining either of those up, guys. Since I've shortened that very beginning intro down so much, that's one of the things I cut out of the intro, and I keep trying to remind myself, oh, I should bring it up in the middle. I should bring it up in the middle of the video still. Look at this board state, dude. And if the Hot Springs was on the board, then the Wurmlet would have had haste too. We could have given the Simulacrum itself counters, and that would have had haste. So that's like, once you get into that mid-game, the Hot Spring can be absolutely wild for your creatures. Pretty cool. Kept our hand beautifully stocked there, just with, what, 2 extra draw? No. That was only 1 extra draw. We had so many cards. Why did we have so many cards with only 1 extra draw? That's interesting. What was that about? Did the opponent go first there or something? It looked like the opponent was playing some form of Azorius artifacts, which could be pretty cool. But if they had more stuff to give us, Power Stones and whatnot, then that's relatively unlucky for them to go up against the Elvish Archivist, right? Dude, what's up with these hands? They're so good, man. What on earth? Like, we're seeing the mana we need to see. We're seeing a curve. We're seeing, like, a line of play, like, that's easy to take. Okay, Simulacrum. Nice. Might as well go the Karplusan Forest in case we see land off the top. Then we can keep the Crucible as some utility. We grabbed a swamp there. Okay. Oh, also, guys, hey, I've been messing around with my sound settings, so hopefully everything sounds good. There's my audio settings. Hopefully I landed on something good. Hopefully it's not too loud or too quiet this time around. Underdog. I don't mind drawing with Hot Springs. I don't mind buffing the everything above the underdog. Or for that matter, above the cut down range too. I'm gonna hold off for the turn and actually get a draw from the Archivist instead of extra counters, as keeping our hand stocked seems like it would be the best here. Let's put a target on Wurmlet's back. No attacks because we can easily get above that tenacious underdog. Yeah, with Hot Spring on the board, like things like Bloated Contaminator come in as a 3-mana 5/5 trample haste. That's crazy to think about, dude. Oh my goodness. Tear us under for the Hot Springs. Oh man. That was definitely a good target. That was a really, really good target for them. Okay. So we can get this above it, I suppose. Yeah, I'm going to skip the Hot Springs this time, especially since Kumano's going to draw us the card. Oh, potentially, if this was a cut down, guys, we probably wanted to go Kumano first. Well, maybe. It depends. Because, yeah, maybe they wouldn't have hit the Archivist with the cut down if we did that first. And, yeah, we can still get this Wurmlet above that underdog, so holding it back for now. Alendal, that could be good. Got that go for the throat for the Elvish Archivist. Copperline Gorge. Okay. Let's go. If we go creature. Okay, so it's going to be Hallandal, right? Buff the Simulacrum. I still don't like that trade. I think Wurmlet on the board, like, I think that's an easy trade for the opponent. I wanted to go creature, and since Hallandal was also going to buff our board state, place a non-token creature. Yeah, the Simian Simulacrum, right? Because we can unearth it. It'll get that haste. We'll get that ability. Kumano flips. Oh, Trespasser. Oh, man. Okay. Yep. That picks that up. Oh, buddy. Monstrous Rage. Oh, buddy. Okay, how do I want to do this? So, well, first of all, Hallandal's going to give haste to the Contaminator. And then we just go Monstrous Rage on anything. Yeah, we swing. We're just going, man. Wherever we need this, yeah, GG. GG opponent. I was going to say, wherever we need this Monstrous Rage would totally be fine. Bro, good stuff, huh? Let's go. That's what I'm talking about. And up against Golgari there as well. Golgari is definitely not a joke, so... going up against some good cards. Going up against some good spot removal today, I know that much. Where's Mono Red? What's going on? All the Mono Red players just chilling in Mythic? I'd love to test the build against it. Opponent goes first. Well, we might... Careful what we wish for, I guess, right? You never know. Good hand, bro. Like him. No 2-drop this time, but do we even care? Kumano! Alright. Alright, we'll see, we'll see. So next turn, Teething Wurmlet. Iron Apprentice was such a good draw. We do have a lot of 1-drops to draw into, but yeah, that was perfect. Phoenix Chick. Phoenix Chick, yep. I hope we see our Halana this game, blocking the air. Or one of our pieces of removal, but we don't have too much. Oop, Copperline Gorge. Extra counter on the Wurmlet. Wurmlet could be huge here, man. Unfortunately, it's still in Lightning Strike range, which could be devastating. Yeah, losing the Wurmlet to Lightning Strike, and then they just full swing. It's not Lightning Strike for the turn. That's a ton of damage, though. So, we're gonna block... I guess Squee, right? Should we chump here? Unfortunately, the exile's gonna happen, so at the very least we should get the trade on the ground, I suppose. Or we could just take it. Nah, this is good. Yeah, the exile happens because of etching, so... Our etching flips. Third comes down. We gain a little bit of life. We could buff this board nicely and try to outpace mono red. I don't know. A good block. Okay, back up to 13. Let's do this. Let's try to outpace mono red, dude. Because we have a decent hand. Like, we're going to gain and buff Wurmlet on Ozolith next turn. And then Monstrous Rage could come down as well. Unfortunately, they went first. If we went first, we might have, like, the perfect setup here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That brings us down to 7. We have 10 on the board. Hold up, dude. If these 2 mountains aren't anything, we could just win next turn easily. So I'm assuming those 2 mountains are something then. Ozolith. Yeah, something's sticking. It must be removal for the Simian Simulacrum. Even so, Monstrous Rage will probably still get us there then, right? Full swing. We also could have used the Ozolith's ability, but we don't know what's in their hand. It's going to be that Lightning Strike, and it's going to be game. Dude. Holy cow. Why couldn't these matches be at the beginning of the video? You know what I mean? What a wild time, man. We're 33 minutes in. We're doing great. Deck feels good. Feels like it's drawing really good so far. But, I mean, at this point, we still have to probably consider it jank until a lot more testing is done. But, like, the draws have been clean. Those victories have been clean. Like, we are piling damage through, bro. When those counters get rolling, they really get rolling. I love the Ozolith there. Just being an extra artifact is all it needed to be. But it also gave us some extra counters as well to set us over the edge. Cool stuff, man. Okay. Yes. We don't have the 3rd mana for the Hot Springs yet, but I like everything else about this hand. And we go first, so... do some rearranging. It's not Kumano first this time. I think it's Wurmlet. Because Wurmlet into Ozolith happens to be a terrific line of play. Especially as we saw against mono red, if you can get Wurmlet above that burn range. Okay. Hey look, Kami's Flare. Ozolith. Pretty good. A great turn 1, great turn 2. Now let's see that land off the top. Not a land, but Elvish Archivist, however, is not bad. Go for the swing. Get the Archivist down, and we're going to try to draw on like Kumano next turn. If we don't see a land, we go Kumano, draw, hopefully see the land, right? If we see the land, then it's probably just Invigorating Hot Springs. Even though we just... Right. Because it could be Kumano draw and then use Ozolith for counters. Because we could draw an artifact. Okay, okay, I talked myself into that instead. Extra damage to a Monstrous Rage. I'm going to spread this out. 5 damage. Yeah, so I would say both the opponent and us, I think we both had a slow start here. Pretty slow start. Okay, they gained 4 there. Inti, not bad. Monstrous Rage also draws us a card. We don't want to forget about that. Without double red on the board, we don't have a lot of terrific plays here. So we could start with the draw. It's probably full swing. See what happens. Yeah, let's see what happens here. Block, block. Let's go Monstrous Rage, see what we draw. This is a lot of extra damage still. 4 extra damage here. So they are going back down to 8. The Wurmlet wasn't bad. But maybe we should have just gone Ozolith for the turn. Hopefully we don't run into a board wipe. But we did draw something to play, so that is something. It is a board wipe. Oh no. Kumano flips luckily, but still. That's really bad. Okay, it's Inti for the turn this time, right? Because this will be 4. Hot Springs number 2 we don't need. Put that counter, see what we see. Monstrous Rage. Holy cow, dude. If we had that other red source. One set. Okay, back up to 8. Opponents hanging on for dear life. They've gained 8 life total. They've had 1 successful board wipe. Going down to 6, dropping the Jace. Probably going the plus on the Jace because this is a scary board state, man. Okay. Oh, second red source. That's good. So whatever we do with Inti, it's going to gain trample. So at this point, we'll go Ozolith, right? Onto Inti. Have Kami's Flare available. All attack opponent's face. Get rid of the other Hot Springs. Plug that trample onto the Inti. It gets a couple counters, right? And then when they block here, we got Kami's Flare, which will do an extra 2 damage to their face. And then the trample gets through as well. So that's a ton of extra damage. GG opponent. Holy cow. I'd say we had a relatively slow start there too, right? What on earth is happening? Guys, what's going on? The deck feels good, man. It does. I'm always like, whenever like the deck plays out so well, I'm always like hesitant. I'm always like, well, we're just getting lucky or something, you know? But no, it feels great so far. Let's go again. So our biggest threat, of course, is going to be spot removal heavy decks. Being said, we have a lot of great ways to keep up with, like, what are the words I'm looking for? Keep our persistence going, right? Okay, not seeing the 3rd mana here could be bad, but again, not a bad hand. Opponent goes first. Let's keep it. Last match of the evening. This could easily go either way, and I'd be completely satisfied. Archivist, we got 2 of them in hand. Tenacious Underdog, okay. I definitely wouldn't mind seeing land in the next couple turns, but we don't need it right away. Like, we don't need land next turn, but it would be pretty good. Like, if we saw land, we go Archivist, then Iron Apprentice. Okay, Liliana. Nano flip, so we don't get the draw on the Archivist.
One of your friends has to leave.
There's the land, that's good. They want to keep the blocker to save the Liliana. The plus isn't that bad. I say we get it above the underdog and then swing and see what they do, right? Could also just go Kami's Flare. I think that's going to have a better target. I think we go Simian Simulacrum. It would have been great to get the other Archivist down, but we got to take out that Liliana. So since we got it above the underdog, they do not accept the chump block there. Ooh. Okay. Okay. Go for the throat. Oh, man. Okay. So, Rakdos Discover? Rakdos Humans, maybe? I mean, that's a Planeswalker, but... Okay. Well, they got rid of our modified creatures, so we don't get those 2 extra. At this point, let's take it slow. Let's get multiple creatures on this board state. I probably should have swung first. Because this is a good swing, isn't it? I probably should have swung first. Because, yeah, nice. We got it through anyways. Because regardless of the trade there, it would have been fine. Bone Horde Dracosaur. Oh, buddy, that's going to be tough, tough business. How do we get around that? Like, the first strike. I guess we have to buff our creatures as much as possible. That's pretty good. Oh, no. I mean, I guess not yet. I don't mind seeing the land, though. I guess is what I'm getting at. All right. It's so risky to go all in on the Archivist, though, is the thing. Bone Horde Dracosaur could really start to get them there. All right, we're going to go Simian Simulacrum number 2. Bluff that Archivist. First strike hits, then the trade happens. So it's not there yet, is it? Brutal stuff. But putting all of our eggs into one basket against a deck that runs Go for the Throat could be really bad too, especially if that basket isn't an artifact. So, Bloated Contaminator's out of here, right? Oh, they actually say, oh yeah, that makes sense, because we would just go Kami's Flare onto the bat. Ah, they're taking about that anyways. Oh man, that's funny. Creature of the Schism again. Schism? One Horde Dracosaur swings in. That's great news for us. Oh, we get a draw on the Monstrous Rage, which we don't want to do before combat. We want that to be a combat trick. We're at 14, so we're kind of getting in trouble, and unfortunately, the death touch on this is going to be... All right, I see Fun Swing. We go for Fun Swing. I think we're out of this game, guys. I think this one's the opponent, so let's do this. Yep, yeah, the Preacher trade would be... Oh! They're not going for the trade. 2, 3, 4... Yeah, they definitely still have enough damage. I'm a little bit surprised that the trade didn't happen. We got them down to 4 guys. We'll drop them that GG. They should have 11. Yes, they have 15 damage. Am I counting properly there? Yeah, 15 damage. So if we kept blockers back, 1, we wouldn't have had the Fun Swing. But 2, they could have easily found spot removal for the turn anyways, and then I would have missed out on the Fun Swing, right? So I think it was going to be the opponents. It could have potentially come down to what we saw off the top too, since we only had 1 open source after the Monstrous Rage. So if we drew like a Kami's Flare, we could have only activated that once, which I guess would have been enough if we took out like their 3-1 here, or their 3-2. Their Appraiser over here. Yeah, actually, seeing removal off the top maybe could have saved us. So we're going to need to talk about maybe 3 to 4 of the Kami's Flares, right? Depending on what you're seeing. Dude, getting all the quests done. Let's go. Wait, we got a pack? Dude, let's do this. Okay. Let's see what we get. Oh, I collected everything from that set. I mean, that's good, but like, I really wish they just give us a rare wild card instead. Oh, speaking of which, nice. Whale of the Forgotten. Cool, cool. I don't think I played with that one yet. I don't get to play Dimir too often. It's not my favorite color combination by any means. So that being said, I want to revisit ninjas at some point. Guys, here's the deck list again. The curve was great, dude. Holy cow. I mean, the curve is realistically like non-existent. Like this is the deck's curve, but like the way it played out, it felt really nice, really smooth. I would potentially drop down to 2 Invigorating Hot Springs. It kind of felt like we were getting too many of those in our hand, and sometimes it was just chilling in our hand as we were trying to plug a lot of extra damage through. Wouldn't mind like a second Hallandale in its place. Drop a Hot Springs, go up a Hallandale means you have 1 less enchantment, 1 less way to draw off of the Elvish Archivist. So maybe we go up like another enchantment? Maybe. What other enchantment could we go up? It's the same concept here. Like I'm saying, oh, we might need 3 to 4 Kami's Flare because the removal goes a very long way. But if we go up any of these, what on earth do we drop, man? What do we drop? If we drop any of our artifacts, then you're giving less counters to the Archivist, and that was very important. You drop any of the enchantments, same concept, right? If you drop some of the creatures, I guess, like, Raiju didn't do anything today, did it? But there were a couple moments, right, where if we saw Raiju off the top, then it would have been really good. Right? I think so. I think so. That's tough. That's a tough decision, man. Because we could drop both Raijus, drop a Hot Springs, go up the second Hallandale, go up the 3rd Kami's Flare, and still have room for like that 1 more and potentially just like another enchantment. Make sure we get that card draw off of the Archivist. I don't know. Personally, I don't think I would change anything until we play like a whole bunch of more games because it just felt really decent, didn't it? When I put this up on AetherHub, I actually think I'm going to skip the jank tag. It didn't really feel janky as much as I thought it was going to be. In those first games, of course, we got completely ripped apart. But then after the fact, man, I don't know. Oh, the Explorer's Cache. What do you guys think about this one? You guys think this might be a janky pick? What would we add if we took this out? I know one thing. Simian Simulacrum is as good as I remember it being. When this first came out, we played with it a lot, and like so often it just does the thing, and it does the thing very well. And when it actually is in the grave, like the Unearthed, like is very valuable as well, just being able to buff your other creatures and everything. You know what? I could see the 4th Bloated Contaminator, but there were moments too where the Bloated Contaminator was chilling in hand as well, where we just didn't want to spend 3 mana on one thing. Instead, we wanted to do multiple things instead. The double Ozolith was terrific. The mana base was fine. Maybe we do want 2 Restless Ridgelines. Would that have helped us at all in those spot removal heavy builds? Probably not. They probably would have just spot removed our land as well, right? So, what would you guys add or take out? Let me know in the comments, and let me know what you thought of Santa Red. We're going to have Santa Red Cat for all week. Well, wait. What's today? Or what day is this going up? So we have like all week and then a little bit of next week with Santa Red Cat for the holidays. Either way, guys, hey, if you made it this far into the video for real, y'all are champions. I super duper appreciate you, and I will see you in the next video.